Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the dark side of Capricorn, and yes, it does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Well, anyway, people, as far as Capricorn goes, and as far as a strong negative expression or strong negative manifestation of this sign, the first thing to look at is the overly serious nature of this sign. The sign can often have difficulty showing a whimsical or jocular sign of the nature. I think a lot of that is connected with the fact that Sagittarius will often fall on the 12th house cusp in a solar or natal chart for Capricorn. Now, at the same time, they may be able to express this more in private, given Sagittarius being on the 12th house. But the thing about Capricorn too is that they are, I really think, unequivocally the most despondent and sad sign of the zodiac. I'm talking about as far as the mood sad. This Capricorn in its worst can succumb maybe to perhaps some strong major clinical depression. The thing about, I think a lot of this is connected with Capricorn often being very pessimistic and looking on the gloomy or dark side of things. And when you look at this sign too, another strong, I would say, negative expression of the sign is that Capricorn can often have a really ultra-orthodox and conservative outlook on things. They're so strongly connected with the true and the tried, and they often will not look at things as far as anything progressive or innovative. They really are more about what has worked for them in the past and will often debunk new ideas and new ways of doing certain things because they often follow the philosophy, if it ain't broke, well, don't fix it. And the thing about Capricorn too is that in a really strong negative expression, another dark side of the sign can be ruthless ambition. Most Capricorns, granted, can just simply be ambitious and work very hard and laboriously to reach the pinnacle or top of their profession. But you're going to find some here and there where that the ambitious nature can be ruthless, and they may romp over others to get to the top, whether it's say negative things about their competition in order to eliminate that competition so they're the only ones remaining. In whatever they're trying to attain, whatever it might be, that particular position, for example. Capricorns can be so status and oriented and worried about their stature in life. And the thing about it is it could almost border on obsession, and with some Capricorn people expressed very negatively. This is also a sign with Capricorn, well, they're not exactly the most demonstrative people, can come across as rather undemonstrative to others, and actually really they could be seen as very unemotional or cold or callous by many people. And it's not that Capricorn doesn't have feelings, they just often do not express it. Keep in mind that Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, so they're very restricted in that, and they're really restricted in certain ways and really opening up to people a lot. Can be inhibited. Capricorn, of course, being a feminine sign, obviously could be very introverted, and they often have a strong aversion to letting new people into their life because of their just general suspicious nature. Capricorn also, as I stated before, will often have Sagittarius on the 12th house cusp in a solar or natal chart. And because of that, they may have that strong aversion to going outside as far as not just expanding horizons, but as far as traveling too. They really may not be that interested in going to other countries, traveling abroad, or taking long journeys. And the thing about Capricorn too is that a lot of times, I believe when Capricorn is young, I mean, because of their strong, mature nature, they may take on an abundance or sometimes an overabundance of responsibilities that maybe even the mother or father may or would do, but maybe they take it upon themselves, or they're given these responsibilities because of their adult attitude. But this could, in some cases, it can deprive Capricorn in terms of having a happy, complete happy childhood for that reason. Now, another thing too is that Capricorn can be so dominated by their career matters, and they could take such precedence over everything else in their life. They, even in their adulthood, they may deprive themselves of some kind of enjoyment. I look at Capricorn, sometimes this could be the sign of what I would call private life deprivation, because the fact that their career can be play such an inordinate role in their life to a point where they might just put everything else under the rug and just forget about it. And what it can do is ultimately, in a very negative expression of the sign, it could really lead them to have an unhappy existence because of this strong need for their career success. I think what's interesting, the late George Steinbrenner, he was an owner for the New York Yankees Major League Baseball team, and I mean, he had a Capricorn ascendant at 29 degrees. Imagine that at the full culmination of the sign. But anyway, I mean, he was seen by some as very domineering, very tyrannical. Sometimes Capricorns, they love having that position of authority, and sometimes they just use it to their max, and that could be a vast understatement. George Steinbrenner wound up fired Billy Martin 5 times, and he hired him a number of times, and really, I mean, that is unbelievable. He hired him, fired him, fired him. He just kind of pulled the strings. And I think what I'm getting at is Capricorns really, sometimes they just use that position of power really to their max. And I find that, I mean, with Capricorn, that sometimes they could take advantage of their power. So, anyway, the thing, as far as Capricorn goes, they are, I mean, Capricorn is just, as I stated before, it can be very exceptionally serious, and I think they just need to kind of laugh a little bit more. It can be self-deprecating humor. Maybe sometimes they could just laugh at themselves a little more and just laugh a little bit more aloud in general. I mean, I have Saturn conjunct my Ascendant, and I think it's hard for me to laugh aloud sometimes. I think that might have something to do with it. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the dark side of Capricorn. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be talking about the dark side of Aquarius. 2 things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.